13th floor. The 13th floor.
Easy. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. Ain't that right, Mike D?
Oh yeah. I'm thinking about. I was doing math in my head. I'm sorry.
What's going on with you, bro?
Nothing, bro. Early morning. But I'm up. I got up today.
On time, even. Kind of, sort of. Not really.
We were working at it.
DJ Barry B. Fresh, what you got going on, bro?
You know, we up. We at it. Had a wonderful Cinco de Mayo. Anybody else get their Cinco de Mayo drink on, please let us know. It was a festivus occasion.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Corey O2, set out the house for the Cinco de Mayo party. I was the only one. Well, me and the fam were the only one there with sombreros. But it's crazy. We walk in and everybody's immediately like, "Oh wow, y'all really did that! I love your hats." I'm like, "Yeah, it's Cinco de Mayo. What are we talking about?" But anyway, yeah, it was a great time. Shout out Corey for opening up. Corey and Racine opening up their house, man. Love you. OD hospitality. And then yeah, the weekend was pretty good, man. We had some good games yesterday. Boston, I don't know, they running away with this thing against who's Boston playing? Philly.
Philly, which that series has been very telling. First off, for the Celtics to watch them doing what they're doing right now with their two stars, like superstars, all stars out right now is nothing short of amazing. Watching what's their point guard?
Rozier.
Terry Rozier.
This guy has come in and, has not missed a spot. He's dropping 26, 28 points a night, 8, 9 assists, like really been phenomenal to watch. I'm very interested to see where a lot of those guys are going to wind up next season.
Oh, they got to stay.
Well, but money always comes into play with stuff like when you see that you can play this good when it counts in the playoffs. At least one of those guys, one of those main guys right now is going to be gone because he's going to get some money. He's going to finally get that.
Here's the problem with that, man. And people don't value it enough, and I think they don't value it enough in life in general. Chemistry is everything. So you can have one Terry Rozier go somewhere else. You can have one Jaylen Brown or even Jason Tatum. One of those three who are the core right now since Kyrie and Gordon Hayward are out, go somewhere else, and they can mess around and be James Harden. James Harden was great when he first went to Houston, but he didn't win anything until he got, what's his name, Ryan, when he got Chris Paul, you got Trevor Ariza. You know what I'm saying? So I hope I don't see it happen because they're just going to be such more of a formidable force. Like Cleveland could barely do anything with them when Kyrie was playing with Boston, but you take these guys like Rozier and Tatum, Jaylen Brown's still going to start, but you move them into their bench roles. You know what I'm saying? So you got a dedicated 8 people in rotation that you would need during the playoffs, and then you getting Gordon Hayward and Kyrie back. For them to lose that based off of some money, like I would hate to see it happen because I
can't imagine it. However, I also can't imagine, hey, I'll give you $50 million to come over here and play over here instead. So that, like, I totally agree with you, but I know that while chemistry is 1,000% one of the strongest factors in getting you to the promised land, especially in sports, I also know that financial gains, depending on the person and player, is exactly what, can be the root of all team destruction. And you never know how the dynamic will turn back once Kyrie and Gordon are there, that there's no promises with the other guys having to take a smaller role now, that they'll have the same success in those smaller amount of minutes, I guess is the best way to put it. But either way, I've been thoroughly impressed by what they're doing. Moving over to Philly,
Them dudes gonna be a beast, man.
Yo, I've been impressed.
It's all immaturity. That's the problem.
I've been so sad because, like, I knew it was a wrap watching the not this past game, the game, game two. When they just totally took my dog Sims out everything, like he couldn't do nothing. And you could tell it was just like, yo, you just too young right now. You just like are in your own head. And the thing I respect a lot about him is he's not a shit talker. He doesn't, you know what I mean? He's just like, yo, I'm going to do it on the floor. There's no, when he got that nasty foul in the series against the Heat, and Buddy took out his legs and he fell on his back, boom, fell. It looked like it was a horrible foul. He just got up. Let's go, man. I'm going to get you on the court. I respect that about him. And yes, their team is insane. Like they're what they have shining up this ball, they're about to make some real noise next year. But let's look at things.
They're gonna be first or second in the East. I guarantee that.
Next year,
gonna be. Oh yeah, it's gonna be Boston and Philly. Cleveland's done.
Like not the way that they manhandling Toronto right now.
Man, Toronto
Cleveland is done because
horrible.
LeBron is leaving.
Right. Even if he stays, they're not gonna be as good.
He's not staying.
But even if he stays, they're not gonna be. It's the reason why those dudes got traded. Hey, who you think gonna be the starting five for the Celtics when Hayward and Irving come back? You starting Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, or Marcus Smart?
I'm bringing Marcus Smart. I'm starting Marcus Smart. I'm probably bringing Jaylen Brown off the bench. Jaylen Brown
is the 2.
He playing the 3.
Yeah,
Gordon playing the 4. Gordon Hayward playing the 4. And what's that big dude, Baines, that got dunked on last night by Joel Embiid?
he may be the one gone.
Oh yeah. No, I think because Gordon Hayward's lengthy like Kevin Durant, ain't he?
He like LeBron size. He like 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah,
he like Paul George.
Size. Yep.
Kevin Durant 6'10".
Kevin Durant like 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought his wingspan was that. Either way, I'm putting Gordon Hayward at the 4. I'm bringing either Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum off the bench with Rozier because that's my scoring when I need Kyrie or somebody to rest. And then you got a strong big man, and it's basically fundamental basketball after that.
So you putting Brown at the 2?
Kyrie's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Tatum, I think, will start at the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gordon Hayward is the 4. Marcus Smart.
What you doing with Horford?
You putting Smart at the 2?
I forgot about Horford. So, I mean, I'm putting Smart on the bench. I got Al Horford and Gordon Hayward down there, and then bang.
Yeah. That's why I was trying to figure out how you was putting Smart in the starting lineup because I was like, yo.
I forgot about Al Horford. Yeah.
Horford last night saved all of their grits. That man made both the plays. He made the play to score to get them up by 1 point with only like 4 seconds left, and then he stole the ball on the inbounds play on the other side, like back
that
to
play
back.
Was ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what Philly's doing, man. I thought they were going to be the most dangerous team in the playoffs, but their youth is just showing itself so much. I think I don't know if it's them or the coach though.
Now it's a little of both. It's the fact that the team and the real meat and potatoes of the team is young, but then also that coach, he's only been coaching there for what, like 2 or 3 years?
No, he's been there 5
a little bit longer.
5.
Yeah.
He started in
I think
2015.
The dynamics of a young team, and being exposed. That's the thing about the playoffs is the short span of being able to make those corrections and really push, those corrections into the playbook. It's a lot easier with those older players who have known about it, which is kind of funny because a lot of Celtics are young as hell too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like that core up there in the Celtics is pushing it, like they making it happen. Whereas Philly just feels like they're fizzling, man. But let's get on back to LeBron, man. This man with these game winners is crazy, son.
Man, LeBron.
Crazy.
I'm just glad he's showing up, man, and manhandling the way that he should in order to get to the conference finals. I'm going to be really excited because I'll probably actually be able to watch a playoff game for real by that time. But I'm really excited to see what he's going to do in the conference final against.
It's going to be Boston.
It's going to be Boston. And then how that's going to
be interesting.
I think it's going to be real interesting because they're going to play defense, man. Boston's long, and they're going to get right with them.
It's all about wanting to fight, man. If you don't want to fight, get off the damn basketball court.
Yep.
It's just flat out. Toronto don't want to fight. They did a whole lot of pushing and jaw jacket yesterday.
But Toronto is real pretty, man. Like DeMar DeRozan is real pretty.
Toronto is still scared of him. They still have, that's the older kid who's been beating them up every year. In every year they go and lift weights over the summer and swear that
But they don't come back with no grit.
But during the year, they show them they win more games. They are on all paths towards showing improving. Man, I'm gonna show that bully. Ain't nothing happening this year. We got him, man. I'm telling you. And then all of a sudden they get
and when it
punched
counts.
and it changes everything. Their game plan went out. I mean, as shocked as they looked after that shot dropped last night, in the look across the total bench's faces, I always talk about the Drake meme of just seeing him after game 2, where you can tell there is a real concern, a real shock, a real just total lack of understanding of what is going on, because they swore up and down that this was their year, and now for it to happen like this type of year and season is what causes shakeups like DeMar or what's the name are not going to be there next year. Like some big shakeup is going to happen now that it's like, yo, we need to do something crazy because we're not winning it with what we got.
But you're the number 1 seed in the East. You're consistently in the playoffs. So it's like, what gets Toronto over the hump?
Cojones.
And you can't bite it. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You either got it or you don't. You know what I'm saying? And who
just like you said, it's about the chemistry, and there's so many factors. And what's even crazier is right now is like I said, after this season, with the way it's looking, them being put out, there is going to be some type of heads rolling in the craziness of how, just like you said, they've been consistently getting to the playoffs, consistently being, top 3-5 over the last couple years. However, everybody gets that becomes the playing field, right? That becomes where the plateau that it's like, yo, all right, well, yeah, we already do that, but because you're not winning the championship, it means that you're nothing. And now, even though you're achieving better than most of the other teams out there, it's like, oh, nope, you're still not achieving at all. So now we really need to shake everything up, and everybody needs to be fired. We're getting a new coach. We're going to kick out the point guard. You know what I mean? Like,
he's an African-American coach, right?
No, he's fired. That's what he is. He got fired after that timeout yesterday. They had one timeout. He got the last timeout. They throw him in the backcourt, and that dude started walking. Like, what did you call? what was the play? Like, all right, yeah, he's fired. He's fired. I think it's going to be Lowry.
Yeah, got Lowry going?
Yeah, I think he gone. I think he done had enough.
He's the most outspoken one about it.
He been outspoken about it. He's out. He going back somewhere. He'll end up in San Antonio, or
that team is about to get broken up and shook up. It's about to go back to almost in a sense rebuilding years, because they almost doesn't count at the end of the day. That's really all it equates to, is the fact that, we were running around with you, but we trying to get to the promised land. And if you were especially to consistently get put out in the same time with the same team,
and if they get swept.
Ain't no if. I'm about to say it's really looking like when, because man, man. You think they're gonna get the next? So you saying they winning in Cleveland?
They'll win in Cleveland, I think.
Realize this is all we talk about the next game. I'm not talking about giving you one or two more.
No. They'll win the next game.
The next game, you're saying they're gonna win.
I think they'll win the next game. Because
I don't know, man. LeBron got that look in his eye, bro.
He does, and I love to see him play with that too. Because he had to do it again against Indiana, and he willed them to that Game 7 win with his 45 points or whatever it was. But I think it's the fact that his supporting cast is going to let down a little bit this game, because I don't know that all of them have that same fire and drive in their heart to get to the championship as he does, because he's playing for more than I think some of them, and a lot of them are younger. So it's like
I disagree.
Not for this one.
I feel like his supporting cast right now is pretty much all hungry. Like I don't the two younger dudes that they got who came over from LA,
Hood and Nance.
Yeah, Nance. Like I know they're not mentally there. They're still kind of trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. But
I think them two the most important though.
But I don't think so.
No,
I think it's I think really, to me, honestly, the most important people are Korver and J.R. Smith. If In who?
Kevin Love.
Yep. If you just have two of them have even just a decent game, like a real game where they put up a good 15 to 20,
It's over.
in either Kevin Love gets rebounds or Korver is getting some assists, like you're not gonna Toronto isn't gonna beat them because LeBron is on a different I know LeBron's on a guaranteed 30, 40 if I need it type move right now. Whereas I'm gonna get this in. You watch some of those passes this dude is making.
He throwing dimes.
Man, I ain't watching nothing.
There was one pass. This man catches it on the wing where he hit the game winner at. He catches it. He's sitting there. Buddy's D'ing him. Just so nonchalant. He's sitting there, and it just looks like he's just posting up, trying to figure out how to post up. All of a sudden, he just this simple, dog. Bounce pass by him like this with Korver was cutting down the middle of the lane. There was nobody there, dog. It just quit.
Yeah.
And the way it looks so nonchalant, like he is in another level right now. He is totally in the zone. He is in his.
Yeah, Korver will have to catch some hands. I'd have to get suspended and catch a couple fines for him.
Why?
Man, you see how that dude coming off them damn pick? He get told, when you come off a pick again and you hit a three, I'm taking your legs out. Because you're not blocking it. Only thing you can do is getting that dude head by him fearing that something will happen to him.
That ball, that dude is up with it.
So it sounds like Korver is playing a lot more consistently than he has.
Man, that dude, his footwork is amazing.
This series, that's
this
what
series.
It's
so that's the difference between this and
them ramp up. You've seen Love, Korver, Smith. These guys are starting to get Smith ain't really been playing all season. He's been having his typical roller coaster time, but
that's all. Yeah.
Game one, he came back, started hitting some of them crazy Smith follow fadeaway jumpers from the 3-point corner. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I feel that juice getting up in you, and man, I'm telling you, they are going this way. They're not at a peak coming down moment. They're still going up to the peak of their unity for this season. Like you can see with these wins, you can see and feel that momentum picking up, and that we about to take everybody out type feel. Last night, that place went crazy.
That's Korver's the key though.
Yeah. If that man keep hitting them, it's going to be an interesting series. I can't wait to see the Celtics series with them, Celtics in Cleveland. Out there on the West Coast, ain't nothing. Houston is slobber knocking them, and then of course ain't nobody taking out.
I thought Utah took one already in Houston.
Yeah, man,
they did, but
speaking of, but it was 80 to freaking when they up by 30 or 40 points.
Yeah, they put that work on them. It was definitely one of them that they got it, but I just don't see them having the sustainability right now of doing it. Even though Utah has surprised me even more than Philly by being I couldn't even have named. Right now, I can barely name one person on Utah's team. You know what I mean? But watching them play, you're like,
that guard they have, I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, he was in the
Donovan Mitchell.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, Donovan dude is he is something else. That tip dunk that he caught. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. That's why I was like, ooh.
So this man comes through the lane, shoots like a jumper. The jumper falls, hits the front of the rim. This man takes one step, catches it in air, and there's at least 4 Houston dudes down there on all of them. Yeah.
Yep.
Like the nastiest tip dunk you will ever see. So nonchalant. It looked like some Tracy McGrady type stuff, but it was with dudes on him the whole time.
Yeah, straight vertical too.
It was just straight beast mode.
So it's already written: Golden State versus Houston, right?
Golden State, Houston, Cleveland, Boston.
So who we taking? Because I'm
Golden State, Boston,
all the way.
Golden State,
Boston. Man, I'm going Cleveland in the Warriors. It's going to be a rematch. It's a rematch.
Yeah, I definitely see it being a rematch. I don't think Boston. LeBron not going to lose to Boston.
Then it's a sweep.
Hayward and Kyrie, then absolutely I would take that. But not the way the team is constructed now. I don't think.
I think so. I think LeBron can beat Boston, but he ain't going to beat the whole. He going to have his 45, maybe 18 rebounds, whatever. Dude has some crazy game and they'll lose. or barely win.
I think
They ain't gonna let
I
it.
think it's gonna be just like this, where it's like, yo, he's fighting tooth and nail to get the victory, but I see him getting the victory. But the Warriors, I don't see them being able to with everything. Like they just got too many. Warriors is exactly that. They warrior, man. They got too many
They
weapons
too damn fast.
over there, and are on it. And not only the biggest thing, it's not about them being fast. None of them care about scoring. They all want to score, but none of them care about it. Like the way that they share the ball and will make 2, 3, 4 extra passes to get somebody who's not just open, but like really open. That's what changes everything. That's
done.
Yeah.
That shit snaps too. Wow,
Yeah, no,
wow, bucket.
It's like watching a ballet, man. It's like beautiful because it's just like, yo, I already thought this dude was open. He passed to the other dude who then passed to the other dude who was really wide open.
Mm-hmm.
So it's safe to say that the championship is coming back to the West because I feel like Houston is pretty much on that same level, and they play a little bit better defense than they have.
I don't know if Houston can beat Cleveland though.
I think, I think
Run the
I think
dogs
that
out on Cleveland.
there's a lot better. I feel a lot better if Houston makes it to the finals and it is Houston versus Cleveland. I feel a lot better of my chances with Cleveland than I do
LeBron
with
guard
the
James
Warriors.
Harden.
I feel like it's no way possible. It's a wrap.
Who's gonna guard Ryan Anderson?
It don't matter. LeBron gonna
guard
guard James
Trevor
Harden. No, but don't matter. Like it's almost like
Chris Paul.
So you saying Chris Paul, Trevor Ariza, and Ryan Anderson?
They're gonna run them dudes out the dang on gym.
They whole
And
thing is
LeBron
Harden.
can't guard. And LeBron.
Oh yes, he can.
Sorry.
Yeah, because Harden. No, because Harden not gonna get those calls. Like all them foul calls that he get, he not gonna get them when LeBron. They're not gonna foul out LeBron.
LeBron not gonna guard
he
James
will.
Harden because he gonna have to do too much on defense, especially out there on the wing.
Hey, if James is going off,
he gonna
guarantee
he gonna get the ball, and LeBron gonna be standing right there. Yep. Because all that going to the lane with the thing and this, and you get a free throw.
Euro steps
right.
that go like this.
Right.
All of that's
all that you're done.
You're just gonna be walking while he doing all of that.
And that come from behind block ain't working with a guy that's gonna reach because James Harden arms super long.
No, but LeBron is super aggressive. He's gonna come with two hands like Superman and just pin it on the backboard.
Yeah, it's going. Yeah, I'd have Cleveland. It'll be. I say Cleveland 6.
I'm going on my man James Harden. I think they'll beat Cleveland. I think they'll take Cleveland in 6.
And I would say
5 because they're gonna shoot lights out.
I'm confused at how James Harden make scoring look.
That dude,
James Harden be traveling, bro. Y'all watch
he be doing a lot more than traveling. But it's still. Even with it, he carries and he does all kinds of stuff, but it's still just like amazing how he's
so fluid with it.
Yeah, like he's so his vision is just crazy. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having like him. It's like watching Le'Veon Bell like on the football field. Yo, it's so patient and slow, but
just
fast.
like and it's you're slow, but you're lightning quick because it's like slow the way to the that's a.
Mm-hmm. And you see him change gears too, because he'll start going for a little bit, and all of a sudden they do the jerk, and next thing you know, he start pulling away.
Where'd he go?
Yeah, I see that twice a year.
So Mike, man, I want to come to you, man, as we jump on this Kanye train. As the elder in the room, have you heard his most recent comment?
Nah, I just saw the clip on it. I heard it right after I heard his first one with the conversation with T.I. that we was talking about last week. So to hear that come out his mouth, he was on a roll. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah, he was on the road, man. He got into it with some TMZ writer or producer or somebody in the background at TMZ, and the guy at TMZ actually put him in his place pretty well. I like that. But to come out of his mouth with slavery as a choice for over 400 years is, to me, it was an oversimplification of something that's much more complex, and kind of it almost seemed ignorant. it's a shocking statement from him.
Well, let's hold
It's
on
easy.
now. We not
Is it
about,
taken out of context?
y'all know.
It's not
Yes,
taken
I'm about
out
to
of
say
context.
yes. It is. First off, we not going to again the Kanye lover in the room. No Omo. It was you can't take one sound bite and
I listened to
allow
the
it
whole
to
thing.
be what creates your opinion of something. B, he was none of us taken to the accord the craziness of what his life is and what he does or doesn't pay attention to.
So
As far as his comments, he did later come back and expand on, I'll say, I don't want to say clean up, but expand on what he meant with the statement that he made. And there have been many people who have agreed with him once he was able to fully express what he meant by saying it was.
what did he mean?
And saying it was choice, he was more so talking about the mental enslavement in the fact that it is some type of power that they had over us for 400 years when there were many instances we had the majority that we were so mentally enslaved that we were not able to push out of that because he feels let him be in that same situation. He is not letting somebody put that type of pressure on him for 400 years. He's not saying that it was, oh yeah, everybody was a slave, that was their choice and they're this, that, the other. But it's more him pushing his thought of free thinking and free movement. It's not to say that, of course it was a correct statement to make or a smart statement to make, but I think also the swiftness of
But
how
it's irresponsible.
it definitely was irresponsible, but he was just speaking it in
Right.
At the same time, it's like, oh, it was irresponsible, but I think we are too quick to chastise somebody before getting the full story and allowing the media to persuade us to go to the extreme. When you have Crips calling out abusing
That's
Kanye
ridiculous.
West and beating him up for a statement like that, while again, yes, if you just hear that one statement, it's crazy, blows your mind, wow, but yet that's just a statement, and we all know mentally Kanye West is, in different places. So for you to automatically push towards that, but yet you have somebody like a George Zimmerman who, has already done a horrible deed to, and is a horrible person, but yet you have never called out or decided that there was, reason to go aggressively at him. It's our community is messed up.
It's
Like,
ridiculous.
In
As though
pushing,
you should be ashamed of yourself.
yeah, even in the Kanye situation, how quick everyone is turning. Let's burn his music and it's not about understanding anymore in our community. It's, it's different, so let's push it out. Oh, you think different, so we don't like you. And that's something we need to change. Like, we need to reopen communication and understanding. And if you noticed on the 13th Floor's Instagram page and Facebook last week, we put up that you don't have to agree with somebody 100% of the time. That's true. Like, in understanding that and not agreeing does not mean that we are now adversaries.
Exactly.
That it is okay to have a conversation and to have a disagreement and to be able to talk through that disagreement and to leave that disagreement saying, hey, I still feel the way that I do. You still feel the way that you do, but that doesn't mean that we have to be adversaries about it. We can still understand that, hey, that may be a topic that we just don't deal with each other on. And letting that move, that's the difference. Right now, we need to, and it's funny because it's what Kanye wants is love and unity. And that was his expression with the Make America Great Again hat. Kanye doesn't watch CNN. He just started, and not to say by any means that that's right, but people don't realize how oblivious he is to politics and things. And it's because he lives in that superstar bubble. And his thought process was in wearing that hat. It was, no, whatever Trump says, it doesn't mean I'm flipping it in his head. Yo, if I wear it, then I'm doing something different with it. And it's about me showing, the peace, love, unity. And yeah, I do want to make America great. His head doesn't register the all the stuff, or even know he is blinded to. T.I. asked him about what about the immigration issues and this, that, and the third, and you could totally clueless. He doesn't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
that's
to say
the thing.
it's right or wrong, but it's we are too quick to like, oh, he said something crazy. He's Kanye Kardashian. This guy is, he doesn't know nothing. His wife just pays for everything. It's like, no, man, this guy is, again, genius and psychopaths are like the same thing. They're just, whether it's on the good or bad brink. And so to always want to, push out people who have an issue instead of having the understanding and heart to want to, let's figure this out together. I think that there is got to be some good pieces in you. We just have to figure out what's going on and have better understanding. It's huge. It's huge. We're so quick to just, look at that statement. Oh, man, he's done. I don't want to turn off all his music. Turn it all off. But
So
yeah,
I think a lot.
got R. Kelly bump and grind playing in the background.
I respect you for that. You changed my opinion. So I'm a convert. I agree.
And
'Cause, like, as he said it, like, I saw the video with T.I. talking to him about the song that y'all were talking about.
Yep.
And T.I. was generally like, all right, man, like, I need you to help me understand. He was literally saying it like he was concerned about him. Like,
Because they
you
are.
my boy, I know you for whatever. Like, what the hell is you talking about? And he started from when I wear the hat and this and that. He said, so what you trying to do with this song? And Lee took his hand. He said, you know what? It's irresponsible. And he started continuing to explain it and explain. He was like, half the stuff that Trump does, I don't believe in. And T.I. was like, well, tell me what half you do.
Right.
And then
He
they
said,
like,
what's the stuff that you do?
right. And then he kept talking, and then they like clipped it. And he was like, so play the beat. And then he played the beat. T.I. listened to the beat. He explained what was in the lyric of his song and how it meant to what he was talking about. And then the next thing you know, they making the record. So it's like you can see this it's just like he said, like, man, you nuts.
It's
dude.
having the open dialogue, though. It's having the love. And look, T.I. said it. He was like, man, we can't lose Kanye. The black representation cannot lose Kanye. Like, Kanye is a genius, a pillar in the, like, he raised us, period. And for us to think that we're about to just let him, be pushed aside due to some potential mental health issues without truly validating his genius and trying to figure out and expose it to take us to where we need to go, as opposed to allowing us to push him to be an outcast and not to continue to not let his ideals and what he's trying to do and what makes him so crazy and has his brain so jumbled up is because he's not able to execute all of these ideals in instances that he thinks is going to make not culture, humanity better. Like, he's not looking for, I want to make some new hip hop sneakers because new hip hop. Kanye thinks on a global humanitarian thought process and what can we do to make the world better. And while it may not always be articulated the best, it's his heart and his thought process are in the right place. And we need to stop as a community, as humanity, stop pushing out people who go against the grain or who seem like, their thought process is not with the masses, that we just automatically typecast them as, crazy or there's some real issue just because they're different. They think different. They want to do something different. They want to swing from, hey, Kanye said, what if instead of hate,
All right, hold on, Fresh.
show love for
We're going
everybody?
for a minute. All right, so there's a difference between having different ideas and making irresponsible statements. All right, so we can agree.
It's not a statement, though, but you got to realize when it's I'll ask you, what's the difference? It'd be a statement if he just said that and stop. Like, that's it. But when there's what's the best way to question? What is the way to be able to, like, it wasn't a statement.
It was a statement.
We the public are taking it's a statement taken out of context.
It's not taken out of context.
It is.
He meant
It is.
exactly what he said. He didn't mean. He
No.
didn't say. He meant it. He felt it. Like, and if you watched Kanye move over the last few weeks, if you saw the interview with Charlemagne, if you've listened to and followed his tweets, he's moving based off of feeling and emotion, and he doesn't do anything unless it feels like it's something he needs to do. So it's not a whole lot of strategy that's going into this, which is fine. I appreciate Kanye for that. And I think the way that he's fighting the battle and the way that we have of others fighting the battle it's going to merge eventually. It's like we're on the same path, just going two different ways about getting there. But it's irresponsible. It was irresponsible statement, and you have to check that. So Kanye doesn't learn from this without that TMZ representative who stood up and quite frankly told him how disappointed he was in the statement, because had that conversation not happened, Kanye wouldn't have walked up to him and that dialogue would not have continued, and Kanye wouldn't have learned how he offended and how he misspoke to clean it up the next time, because I absolutely know what he was trying to say. It's just certain things you can't simplify slavery to the point where it's just a life or death decision. All of us, I think, who were raised in the early 80s or 90s, I myself feel like I would have been a Nat Turner or one to die, because I don't feel like in my head right now I could have been as submissive, especially if I was ripped from a foreign land and my teachings and the pride within my tribe or my nation, it would have driven me to figure out a way otherwise, and not just for myself, but for my family. But when you take into consideration the mental slavery that happened, these people being ripped from their families and basically being told like this is the best way to live. You have mothers that don't want to see their children thrown overboard. You have fathers who don't want to see the worst happen to their family. So, okay, if this is what I have to do to see my family be in a living condition, then that's what I'm going to do. So when you take all of that into consideration, it's easy to say, oh yeah, they were slaves for 400 years. I mean, for that long. And then it's like you don't even take into account the amount of slave revolts that there were, because just because all we know about are the Nat Turners and Harriet Tubmans of the world, there were hundreds of slave revolts that were just unsuccessful due to one person or two people, that just were bonded to the master so much that they basically snitched. So it's a much more complex issue, and just because he has the ability and the freedom to state his opinion doesn't mean that we shouldn't come behind to correct that, because we absolutely do need Kanye. I love the direction that Kanye's on, and after following him for the last few weeks, I've grown a much larger appreciation for him as the man and what he is trying to do with his fashion, with the factories that he's trying to build, with the communities that he's trying to build, and the humanitarian aspect of him. Because as you stated earlier, everything he's doing, I feel like Kanye is like 5 or 10 years ahead of us right now. And I feel like he's
like
always been 5 or 10 years ahead of everybody. And as soon as we catch up, he's going to be down the road again. So I appreciate everything that he's doing. I just feel like we as the community have to continue to kind of keep him, you can't box Kanye in, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. But you can't let him run so wild and rabid that he starts affecting other pieces in the movement. You kind of got to keep him boxed in or keep him in his lane so that he can inspire the change that is this summit that's supposed to be happening with, Pastor Daryl Scott or whoever that guy is.
This guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look more into him. But Kanye sparked all of this. You know what I'm saying? If Kanye hadn't made the statements or given the tweets, it doesn't seem like these things we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. We wouldn't have the people who are looking into who are becoming more politically active and, feeding their minds and learning more about the political processes, the candidates and legislation that's going on. I feel like none of that would have been happening, or it wouldn't have started for certain people had Kanye not jumped out of his box, or maybe stayed in his box and said the crazy shit that he said to inspire those people.
Look, I think that's what gets the freshest point about the genius of him, because it's not that he's doing it. Like, I think what you said, he thought through all that, but what he got on the end was what it came out as. And it's almost like it's not the emotion. Like, I can see him truly having almost like a detachment in terms of emotion, because for him, it's just fact. It's not emotional. Like, why are you getting all whatever about it? Like, this is the way I process stuff. And on our end, the freshest point, like, is we're judging him based off of how we would react and what we would say and what we would expect other people to, right, not coming to the understanding that he's completely different. Like, right. It's almost like if you think of Big Bang, it's like having a conversation with Sheldon. Like, that dude is like, "You in my seat? Like, get up!" Or like his response is back. You be like, "Man, that's just insensitive. Like that straight was cold. He ain't get it. Like it was a hole, but he does it. It's like that's
And
the."
Look, I apologize if you if America felt that my direction was that we should let anyone just be able to fluff over the comments that he made. 1,000%. He has to take responsibility for even the fact that soundbite was cut the way that it was in order to create like just
wasn't cut.
that was I don't know what you're laughing at. Like
because it's a whole minute and a half. Like I've seen the
but
whole
it's a whole
video.
It's and again, it's a whole like there's so much more to what his whole process was. And again, in thinking at the end of the day, I'm not telling anybody to let him off on the statement. And again, it's about exactly what not just Van checking him, but the fact that it's about the having dialogue instead of casting out. I'm not saying that his statement
that's
was
the biggest
right.
thing, man.
I'm not saying that it was right, and I don't care how it was cut or if it wasn't cut. I'm just saying the point is that instead of casting someone out when they make a comment or show something that might be a little bit against the grain, or opening up the dialogue in order to have better understanding is where the value is ultimately my point. I'm not looking for Kanye to be for it to be okay for him to make such a foolish statement, and for it to, especially with the reach of his voice, that isn't my point by any means. It's about the understanding in the conversation and dialogue afterwards, and making sure that we have that dialogue, as opposed to allowing somebody to make a statement and then never finding out the back end of it, and allowing what potentially is a horrible statement that was caught to not be verified and understood, and see if there is something. Because at the same time, Kanye could have turned around and be like, yeah, I said exactly what I said, how I meant it. Yeah, man, there was a choice. He could have said that, but he did not. He did not.
And he didn't, because he had to accept the gravity of his comment, and he had to be held accountable for it.
I don't think that it was necessarily, well, it was him accepting the grab, but I think just like you said with the comment, he didn't understand the weight of what he was saying when he said it. When Van checked him, like, bro, we live regular lives. We understand that you are, in your genius, airboat, which rightfully so, but we live these normal lives. That it was an aha moment of, oh, wait a minute, they didn't understand really what the hell I meant. And I did kind of sound crazy. That he came back and
even
qualified what he was trying to explain.
Even Charlamagne gave him some of the same thing, and it's like, and this is another question I want to ask you guys, see what you think. But Charlamagne, in that video, Kanye said something, and he was like, "Whoa, Kanye, these are rich nigga comments." You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't deal with the same level of racism, at your level of prominence that you or I would deal with, being the middle class to lower class citizen down here. Which brings me to a question, topic of discussion I've had with a few friends. It's this idea that racism is such a low level tactic utilized by those that are in power, that some would consider, like, say, Illuminati is, or the elitist of the world. It's like a tactic to keep us in line down here on this level, whereas it doesn't necessarily exist so much when you get to higher. It's like,
if I can see, look, just this season, LeBron James came home to nigger swashed all over his house. If LeBron James, who is one of the greatest black men right now, you know what I mean, can have it come to his front doorstep, to me, it's what's the best way to put it? Like, impossible. Everybody feel it may not be as weighted as heavily, but even, Denzel Washington deals with racism, even in him trying to get movie roles. You know what I mean? That racism is here, and it's prevalent, and it's obvious. It while it has been pushed down a little bit, on all levels you experience it. And I mean, all of us, I'm sure we've been to the hood, and we've been to board meetings and experience just the potential disdain of people of other colors just because we are there as brothers. And it doesn't matter the level, it doesn't matter, anything. It's just there. Period.
I agree. Yeah, it's. I can see it even being more pronounced because it's more subtle the higher you go. Because even you think of like country clubs and places where you have to apply to enter and membership and just the conversations, is the money that is at that level is money that is made during those times. You ain't that rich and you
So
just
that's
make your money in the last 80 years. Like you sitting on
right.
centuries and centuries of money, jewels, land, real estate, whatever it is that caused you to be wealthy. This is hand down stuff from time when it was on the back of that. So you understand your roots, you understand your foundation, you know where it came from. We'll be friends. I shake your hand, but other than that, that's just only in a business venture. You ain't living in my community. You ain't coming to my country club. You ain't meeting my daughters. So go make your money because I own whatever you're working for. So Dan Gilbert ain't inviting LeBron over to his house to have no dinner for Christmas, which is part of the reason why their relationship is like that. And Dan Gilbert could care less, nor his friends could care less. And he probably ain't inviting them over because if he invite them over, he gonna lose all his friends. Because believe it, Dan Gilbert probably ain't the richest of all his friends. He probably the dude asking for money. That's why you see him so much. He the one got the casino. He always starting something new to catch up to whoever is in his circle. Because he's so marketable about what he's doing. He's not even on the highest level of money. Like if you think of Warren Beatty, like you hear stuff that he's doing later. Or I mean, it's different. Like, yeah, it's there.
Well, so yeah, not that racism like doesn't exist. I guess what I'm trying to say, and it came out perfectly during the conversation, and it's just not coming out the right way now. Thanks, Kanye.
Take the soundbite.
But race just becomes it becomes less about race and more about position, as you go up and the things that we're able to accomplish. So, for example, once you reach the heights of, I guess, like a Jay-Z or Denzel or anybody, amongst our group, our community reaches a certain level of prominence, that racism factor that they had to fight through so much when they were trying to build becomes a little bit less of a, I guess, hurdle versus the position that they hold now and trying to achieve more greatness, I guess.
Yeah, I say that with the average. I can see that. Like I can see, other than the situation where LeBron got it, like I can see him going to restaurants and all that.
But I think it's more I think that, look, right, there's some African dudes, right, who have the same amount of money as LeBron James and will try to go in some of those similar spots and will have issues just because they're unknown black men as opposed to one of the most known black men in the world, right? So that's my thing is with, of course, if you're famous because you're facing, you have that person who can, in a sense, be able to validate, oh, snap, the busboy said that's Jay-Z. He's important. You know what I mean? We need to make sure that's Beyonce's husband. You know what I mean? As opposed to, in general, just like rich African Americans in their access and how they are treated, that I know when they're going to Prime 112, if you're not the new rapper, so they're not necessarily getting the best table. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if you're not known, and while a lot of it just has to do with being known, you know what I mean? Who knows you, who typical, growing up type of success pieces, that it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. But in general, I know that racism, regardless, it's going to be there. And even with a lot of money, a lot of success, I guarantee you talk to any of them, LeBron, Puffy, Jay-Z, you can go down the list of all the rich, African Americans that there are, and even Beyonce is, you know what I mean, feeling issues of racism and understanding and being able to have that piece of, wait a minute, I feel like they would have gave me 2 chicken breasts instead of the wing in the chicken breast. You know, like there's always those moments, but it's because it's so systemic. It's so built in. But with all that said, it's for us to be able to push past. Like while I will say something or at least give the look of most of anything that I feel is out of place, and especially if it's on the point of racism, I'm still not one who's going to not go and do what I want to because I'm scared of racism, I guess is the best way to put it. You know, like it's still under, like, it's about being able to understand, know that you might come in contact with it, but being able to be strong enough, articulate enough, and mentally strong enough to combat it with you know, love, wisdom, and kindness in a sense, as opposed to just automatically being on, I'm going to see red and fight everybody. And understanding that you create a lot more, it's a lot more powerful when in those racist moments, you can articulate yourself and let them see and understand how stupid they were and what they did, the mistake that they made. And so it's something that they continuously think about and resonates with them, and hopefully makes the impact of pushing them away from racism moving forward, as opposed to going off and being that to where all of a sudden now you, in a sense, validated for them that, yeah, that's why I don't like y'all.
Love, wisdom, and kindness. I like that. That's what we call in this episode right here.
Hey,
Love, wisdom,
all right.
and kindness. Hey, before we get up out of here, man, we got to go to you for the crypto biddy this week, my man.
We back. We still here. Yeah, man, crypto been crazy, real crazy. We just, you know, just tickling 10K.
You want me to cough too?
Back in December.
Oh man, that was very Donald Trumpish.
It was on the upwards of 20K. It was right there touching it. And you know, the past couple months, we've barely been able to see an $8,000 Bitcoin, whereas this last month has really seen things get back to upward movement, where we are right now just touching 10K. Like, we've been 9,800, 9,900. So it's really exciting to see that momentum start to get infused back into cryptocurrency. Of course, as that has grown, we have seen a lot of strength in the other altcoins that are out there. So I've seen a lot of my Wan chain and even Ethereum and Ripple. There's been a lot of movement across the board. We saw Verge coin actually became the first cryptocurrency accepted by Pornhub. So Pornhub, now you can go ahead and buy a membership with Verge cryptocurrency. So the penetration, no pun intended, of cryptocurrency has been phenomenal, in watching the expansion, especially over these last 30 days. And really, as this summer is coming, we are watching things heat up and watching a lot of new, actually, really, I won't say new, but really watching a lot of these cryptocurrencies start to expand and execute the projects that they were initially created for, and watching how they are going ahead about the processes of instituting their products and services has been really cool to watch. And it's definitely the water droplet in the bucket of what the future is going to bring, by way of, you know, how this blockchain technology is going to be able to just totally change the way that we do business in many other things on a whole. So crypto's booming. Again, if you ain't in it, you need to get in it. Check the website, cryptowithfresh.com, Facebook group, Instagrammies, all of that good stuff. Holla at me. Let me know what you doing. If you invested, or you stressing, or you not, let me know. Let's get it.
A couple things before we get up out of here. First, remember that you can get this podcast any and everywhere: iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, Google Play. Make sure you follow us at 13th Floor, please, on all your social media handles. Mike D, you got something important you want to say, so I'm gonna go to you.
Yeah, I got something. I want to give a happy birthday to my dad.
Papa Matthews.
Yeah, this would be his 80th birthday today. So
Going strong.
yeah, so
Salute,
much
sir.
love, Daddy. Stick wisdom.
That's the wisdom, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Stick wisdom will get you.
Two things. Yeah. So, is this a Avengers movie? Is it worth me going to see in the movie theater, or should I just try to stream?
Oh, 100%. You definitely got to go watch that in the movie theater. I'm not a 3D type of guy by any means, so I'm definitely go 2D and make sure
it's only a
volume
few
up right.
I think are worth the 3D.
I got a question. If you had to choose between Solo and Avengers, which one are you going to?
I'm going.
Well, I already seen
I've
Avengers.
never been a big Solo, unless is Donald Glover playing?
Yeah,
he's in that
he is. He plays exactly, yo. I want to see that. And actually, just like I think Brett was gonna say, I appreciate Star Wars, but I'm not like a Star Wars stan. And I'm definitely more of a stan of superhero movies than I am of the Star Wars series. So it would have definitely been Avengers over going to see Solo. And I will say it was only until I saw the full Solo trailer in Avengers that I really had a piece of really wanting to go see it. Because when I saw the first trailer, I was just kind of like, whatever. Like, it wasn't that big to me. But in seeing the second extended trailer, and then also seeing that Glover was playing,
Lando.
Lando
Calrissian.
Yeah, baby. So when I saw that, it kind of changed my mind because I'm a Donald Glover stan too. I respect him a lot.
I'm big on Gambino. But yeah, the only reason I ever got into Star Wars is because of the bros, like, because my line name is Darth Vader, and so that's how I got into.
Let me figure out who this character really is.
You feel me? So when I went back and watched episode 1, 2, and 3, then I had an affinity for freaking Star Wars. But outside of that, I mean, I don't really care for it. And I grew up watching them and remember not really caring for them when I
remember, I was about to say, when I was young, I remember watching them. And not that I didn't care for them, but they weren't like, it didn't resonate with me like I watched them because it was like the thing to watch, but it wasn't like, oh my God, like it's like cool, okay, it's different, and like I could respect the special effects and everything, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I gotta watch Star Wars this year. You know what I mean? Like there was a long time I didn't care nothing about none of that, and I have not seen all of the episode 3 or whatever, like all of the ones that have come out lately, and like the last one, the one that came out before this, I didn't go watch that.
I watched it. I didn't like it because the storyline is the same thing over again.
It's about the Republic, man.
But it's like they literally copied the same Anakin.
It's like it's almost like Lord of the Rings. Like it's a whole, like all 9 make the story. So it ain't like just one. It's like 9 different chapters, but they made the chapters individually into movies. So like what you got was chapter 4, 5, and 6 when it came out, but you don't know chapter 1 through 3 or how it end. So what they're doing now is
like that because they shift.
But they're doing it in, like you got 4, 5, and 6, which
that came way back out in the 80s.
Or the 80s, but that was after 1, 2, and 3. You know what I'm saying? So you started in the middle of the story, then you got the beginning of the story, and we at the end of the story. But the end of the story is the same thing that happened in the beginning of the story. So
because it's the same story. It's how it ends.
But that's what that's like.
But it's new characters. But it's
why
it's
are
like,
Bottoms back?
It's a waste of time, man. I need something new. Give me something fresh. Ease. My other thing was, y'all know they remaking Superfly?
Yes. Who the
Little X is directing it. I'm very
and Little X is directing it?
Yeah, I'm very intrigued. I won't go as far as to say excited about it, but I'm very intrigued because I've been watching Little X. I follow him on Instagram and I saw when he started making it, and the way the way that they're doing it.
Is it gonna be modernized or are they doing
it? It's in a modern world. Like it looks really cool. It looks like he really did a good job of creating kind of like that.
So the Cadillac not gonna be in it.
I'm sure he's gonna have some type of new Cadillac that's crazy. Like it looks visually, it looks really sexy. Like it looks really dope in that they did a good job. If you guys go on Little X, and matter of fact, they got Superfly the movie on Instagram right now. If you go to Instagram and look up Superfly the movie, they have clips, and even checking out the trailer, it looks like they did a really good job of, you know, kind of recreating that feeling in that moment, but bringing it to a modern feel. That's one of my favorite things, is watching, like with the Avengers, right? I enjoy watching those moments that are outside of our time, but being brought into making it feel like it's now. You know, being able to have that moment of feeling like, dang, yo, Thanos could come out the sky at any time. We got to be on our P's and Q's. The same thing that they've done with this Superfly movie. It looks like they did a really good job of bringing it to Atlanta and having that same moment in nostalgia that Superfly brought back in the day, and really capturing, you know, that piece of time. It seems like they've done a good job of moving it into a modern dialogue, or I guess modern setting is a better way to say it.
Yeah, Trevor Jackson is the lead, huh?
Yep. I've never seen him. What is he? Have you ever seen him in there? Okay.
I don't know who he is, but
I think he looked like he was a new dude. But I mean, there was some player like the like I said, the visually, it looked extremely like just amazing. It definitely looked like they did a good job of capturing, like, these are dudes with money. Like Superfly was a Superfly, and like the new era that he got to capture, it looks like it's going to be a good flip.
Easy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we up out of here, man. Appreciate y'all spending y'all Sunday morning. Well, it's Friday afternoon by the time you get this thing. We done here on the 13th floor where the furniture isn't always the best. But Mike D still got it.
Oh, look at
The 13th floor.
What about a retirement, folks?
Let me get that dog on the outro. Easy.